my name is Merve Doughorty, and I'm the Assistant Vice President, Head for Human Resources here at Massy Distribution, Jamaica Limited.
What does a day-to-day look like?
Whoa, so the day-to-day could start, with, just ensuring that team members turn up for work and that we have adequate talent to fit, the needs of the organization. So, yes, various positions where these persons would work, ensure that they're there and the right talents are available to fill these positions. So I've been at Massy almost 4 years now, so getting closer to 4 than 3. If you know me, you know that I'm into people. It's kind of cliche to say, I like people, but really and truly, I'm into people. And I like specifically people development. So I'm always concerned about, developing people to get them to a place where they, to push them to their next level, and to be the best version of yourself, while working on me too, of course. But yes, I really like that. So I suppose just doing things for people, just ensuring that people are happy, that they're capable in terms of their skill set, ensure that they're developed and that they're, equipped with the right skills to suit the various roles that you would have in an entity. So that's me, I can't do anything else. I can't imagine doing anything else.
When I just got here, somebody referred to you as Auntie Merve.
Yes.
Where did you get that name from?
I don't know, I suppose because of my, how I interact with the staff. Persons see me not so much as the head of HR, but they see me as someone, more like a anti-motherly type of person who they can go to, whatever needs they have, they feel comfortable. An auntie is someone who, you don't go to your mother for certain things, but you go to your auntie for certain things. I suppose that's where it's coming from. So some team members refer to me as Auntie Merve. So
does that come with the job?
Well, in HR, trust me, when you work in HR, you fill all kinds of roles. Sometimes you are a nurse, sometimes you're a counselor, sometimes, you play different roles. Actually the position, comes with that. So I play along, I work along with it, it's okay. Sometimes somebody wants a friend, you take off your HR hat and you just deal with the person on a personal level,
I know working in HR, sometimes you have to butt heads with people.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
Well, first of all, it's just how you do things. I'm always saying that, tough conversations are needed from time to time, but it's the how. How do you package, what you have to say in a way that someone do not feel disrespected or feel less than. But you say the hard stuff, but you say it in a way that they get it and they understand that it's really tough love kind of thing, So that's really how I get through with my difficult conversations. So we call it the sandwich effect in HR. You balance it, put some love in it, and you have have that balance. Oftentimes, work in different entities, you go through various challenges, and one of the most difficult conversation to have with someone is to say to them that, hey, we have to say bye, we have to part company. Whether it's as a result of the organization, downsizing, or as a result of someone's performance not being at the optimum and you have to part company. So that to me, that's a difficult part, but you have to do what you have to do. And as I said before, you ensure that someone's dignity is intact. You don't have to say bye in a way that they feel less than, but you explain the reason, the rationale behind it, and give persons an opportunity to express themselves. Also, if there's a disciplinary matter, you ensure that there's due process. So persons have their day in court, so to speak, to defend themselves. The joy for me in HR is when you would see a talent that is not at their optimum at this point in time and you take them to that level. You may craft a development plan for the employee, and you work along with the team member to reach to that goal. And then they reach that stage and you see them performing and just, being at them, their potential. That gives me joy. Yes, I like that. When a team member is in a role that is not necessarily ideal for them because of their skill set and their personality, that you would say, a misfit, but you would have identified that and you work to move them into a role that is more suitable to be aligned with their specific personality and their skill set. And then you see a totally different person performing at a higher level, more productive, someone who is enjoying what they're doing and bringing, making an impact in that role. That brings me joy too, yes.
I know working as a woman in corporate Jamaica does come with its own set of challenges. How have you maneuvered the space?
Well, truthfully, I don't have those issues because I don't want to sound as if I'm conceited or anything, but I am never one to be, I don't watch those stuff. I just stay focused. I just do what I have to do. I don't see person because you're a male or female. I just do what I have to do and get the job done, So really, I can't say I have those issues, to be truthful.
Have you ever had a situation where a person, either male or female, questions your authority because you are Auntie Merve?
No, I've never had those issues, to be truthful. I've been in HR for 20 odd years and I've never had those issues. So, no.
So you're the strict auntie then?
I wouldn't say that strict, but I'm balanced.
You're balanced.
Yes. I think HR has come a long way, to be truthful, over the years. Yes, persons used to see that profession as a back office kind of, profession, but more and more, leaders have come to realize that, the value of people, and that partnership that you need from your people to be successful. And as such, you would need to have competent HR as part of your dynamic team to bring forth those kinds of, the results that you want. Show me a company that has good HR, and then you see that company being a successful one, because it would mean that your programs, you would have HR at your strategic table, and they will be focusing on the people, whilst you have your finance focusing on the finance, and of course you have your core members, team members there based on your operations, right? So you need HR. HR is required. So I must say that persons have come to realize HR is more valued now than before, so it's not, to me, we're satisfied where our career, is going as it relates, the profession of HR is going.
How do you balance being Auntie Merve and being a strategist? Because a strategist takes some gusto. Mm-hmm. How do you balance the two?
It's not hard for me because it's a natural, because I understand the role of a strategist. And as I spoke about earlier about the how, I'm Auntie Merve, but employees they are quite aware that when it comes down to getting the work done, we're going to get the work done. We're not going to water it down at all. No compromise on that, So that balance is necessary for persons to feel valued, to understand that I am important, that I'm considered, that part of it. But the other side, I need to show up and show up well. I need to prepare myself. I need to understand that this is a business that we're doing and we need profits. And my role is important to getting the work done, right? So that's the serious side. So talking about balance, that's it. So that is one of the reasons why having hard conversations is not hard for me, because I understand that there has to be some compassion, there has to be some consideration for person's feelings, but at the same time, we still have to get through to, hello, let's talk business, right? Yes.
So tell me about your time at Massy. What brought you here and how has it been for you?
Wow, I joined the team in the peak of COVID. Yes, I came here 2020, yeah, April 2020, right? Yes, April 2020. And so that's when COVID was like, at its peak. So it was challenging because everybody were wearing masks. And it was difficult to know the faces, to know, and all of that. So I have to learn, persons with the mask on. So that was challenging at first. But of course, we got in and get to know the people, understand the organization, new industry for me. I've worked in most of the industries, but this would have been the fast-moving consumer goods industry. It's brand new for me, so I had to learn the industry quite quickly and hit the ground running. Because remember, as I said before, it was in the peak of COVID, so I had to ensure that our people, were being taken care of, And if you know about Massy, we're a very family-oriented company, very caring. In fact, love and care is part of our core values. So during that time, we had to ensure that our team members were, fed, they were transported to work, stuff like that, having their meds, stuff like that. So we did go above and beyond to ensure that our people were being taken care of. Our focus at that point in time was ensuring that our staff members were well and that their mental health, was up there, because we know it was really a testing and trying time for not just us here in Jamaica, but globally, because it's a pandemic. It was a pandemic, yeah. So, so to answer your question, how is it going? It's going great, excellent. I feel like, when I speak to my colleagues in my HR colleagues, I will say this to them, that this is a job that I always wanted. It has the excitement, it has enough excitement and enough challenge and stability and everything to keep me occupied, because I cannot be bored, right? So there's job satisfaction. So it's going quite well. It's a great group of company to work with. So I'm enjoying myself here at Massy.
There are people going to school, going to universities to learn the ropes of HR. If you had to single out one piece of advice, what would you say to those people?
I would say if you have an interest in the field of HR, one of the first things that you need to do is to get a mentor. Get someone who would have been there before, who is experienced. Of course, you have different level of HR, So if you want to be a star, you find yourself a star to mentor you. Yeah.
So are you open to taking up mentees?
I do a lot of mentoring, lots. So I really believe that it's my responsibility to give back. So I'm always sharing and developing younger, whether it's my team or from other entities within my own group of company. We have youngsters that we do support. So I do mentoring. And employee engagement, no. We work very hard, but we play hard here at Massy. We have a comprehensive employee engagement program. So for our 100th year, we have had numerous employee engagement activities. So from a high tea party for women and on International Women's Day to gospel concerts, and that was on Holy Thursday, to just games evening, karaoke evening. Right now we're planning our activity of the year, or engagement activity for the year. And that will be an employee day away from the office, right? And that promises to be a great event, Staff Fun Day. Very, very, very well planned. I'm so excited about that one. Right, so we have quite a bit of that going on here. Our culture is something that is rich. and it's deliberate. You know, it's deliberate that we laugh in the office. It's deliberate that we don't do formal all the time in our meetings. It's deliberate that we have dress down Fridays. It's deliberate that, you know, we have our team members that are not necessarily managers present, you know, put them up to travel overseas to get involved in our business, you know. You could just be a regular employee, but you have that capacity to do that, and we will send you away and we will invest in you. So, I mean, we're deliberate with all of that because we believe that we want to build a culture of one of inclusion, one that employees feel comfortable and feel like they're valued. And my contribution to the business is just as important as somebody else whose title may be called manager. Yeah? So, yeah, that's how we are here. That's how we roll here at Massy.